Sue Mailman, who joined us on our first with Tim Garvin, the President and CEO of United Way of Central Mass, is back with us, and we're going to talk about a few different roles, Sue, that you play in the community. First, let's talk about what probably pays the bills and employs lots of people in Central Massachusetts, which is your company, which you're president of, Coghlin Electrical Contractors. But it's fourth generation business, but like any successful business, you got to evolve with the times. Tell us a little bit about our viewers who are not familiar with your company.
So my great-grandfather started our business in 1885. His son and his brother ran the businesses, so my grandfather and my great-uncle. After that, my great-uncle only had 2 daughters, so there wasn't an opportunity in the 50s or 60s for them to take over the business, although frankly both of them would have done a fine job.
Yeah.
My grandfather there were 8 kids, 2 of them passed away, and the 2 that stayed with the business were my dad and my Uncle Jim. And then
but there was Coghlin Electric, there was Coghlin Furniture.
Correct. So we had a furniture store on Main Street for a long time, which actually started as an appliance repair business. So we were a GE supplier and a lot of GE products at that time. And the furniture store was just so interesting. We always had the construction company, and we were always doing electrical contracting. Distribution was part of our business for a long time. We used to buy our products from that distributor, which sometimes caused issues with other distributors who thought we had a good deal going with our own company. The furniture store was great because it was entirely different characters. It was the art side of the world and employees where, the people that I work with are engineer types, they're electricians, they're foremen, they're very direct and to the point, and we get jobs done.
Right.
And so it is a total people business. Over all of the things that we've done in our existence, it is all about having good people and people that are committed. I think people gravitate towards wanting to work for the big, large employer or choosing to say, okay, something about this resonates with me, this community, and our business, Tim, is a union electrical contractor. We work in New York, we work in Boston, we work in Rhode Island, we work
But headquartered here in Worcester.
Headquartered here in Worcester, which is perfect. I just mentioned all those places. How would we get to them? So Central Mass is truly an awesome location for us. Do a lot of work in Western Mass as well.
And you mentioned the larger employers, but you're a pretty significant employer locally. I mean, how many people work full part-time?
So in our business, in the office staff, that goes from 30 to 50, depending on how construction is. We finished our largest year last year in our history. We did 94 million, and we had over 400 electricians in the field. Come back down again this year, about 250 in the field right now. So the nature of our business is probably 200 to 400 in the field,
right.
And that office staff that supports those people.
Right. And so in addition to leading a pretty significant sized company and pursuing work all around the Northeast, you've had a few different roles. One is coming to an end after 2 years. We've had a chance to work together and enjoyed that very much as we've at the Chamber, but you've been chair of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce, and not that you're going to get any rest, because recently the Baker-Polito administration asked you to be the chair of Quinsigamond Community College. But why are you involved with the Chamber? You mentioned your previous involvement with United Way, but why is the Chamber important to your business?
So there was a woman in town, her name was Lois Green, who told me years and years ago that if you get asked to do something, you better say yes. And I think my family also has a history of saying yes. And I think that the things that we, what is going to make our community a better place? And if what we've tried to do for 2 years, Tim, right, to engage business, to move the advocacy level, to show people the relevancy of the work in the Chamber is very important to me, and it's important to
business recruitment, investment in the region, and job growth. Right?
And as any of the organizations that you get involved in, the more you learn, the more you understand the relevance and the true value that's being added back to the community. And your presence as leader for this effort is it's been awesome. So it's been a lot of fun.
We've got a good team. And you and I have talked about this many, many times, but and it might surprise some of our viewers who haven't heard me talk about it on the show before, but the single biggest issue that we hear from our members, regardless of the sector that they're in, the size of the company, is talent, workforce pipeline. How do I find good, qualified, motivated people to work, you know, regardless of the sector and the size of the company. I think, you know, this is as a former lawyer, or as a lawyer who used to practice, this is probably a leading question, but I gotta believe that your involvement and that of your family over the years in Worcester Technical High School, you know, formerly Worcester Voc, your involvement with Quinsig is somewhat related to good quality education, workforce relevance, and why do you get involved? Your dad helped, you know, build the new Worcester Technical High School, which the president came to last year to give the only high school graduation speech. You've raised money for Quinsigamond Community College, taking over as the board. Why is that important, and why those two institutions?
So I think two different things. I think that you're right. I mean, our electricians, our workforce is, you know, comes from those vocational schools, not just Worcester, but all over the place. It has been so much fun to think, you know, 20 or 30 years ago, in this business, you know, the view of voc ed was much different than the view of vocational education is now, and it's
waiting lists across the state.
Waiting lists across the state, a true, you feel even from this administration that we have now, an understanding that if we're gonna achieve workforce development success, that it's going to happen with vocational schools and community college. I think it's public education, and I think that resonates with me definitely, with our family, with my dad over the years. And when I went back to school, I went to work right after I got out of high school, and I worked for a number of years, and then said, I guess I have to go back to school, and went to Quinsig nights and Worcester State nights and Assumption nights. And the value that community college has, not just to the 22 or 23-year-olds. I think sometimes what's missed is, you know, the adults that go back to work or trying to retrain. There's tremendous value in that. So my dad and his energy with the vocational school, it was kind of understood you would continue that, and it's great.
And you serve right now as chairwoman of the
advisory for.
So the businesses serve as advisory, and they do what?
We have 350 advisors that come together twice a year to meet with different department heads and the departments of the school, and advise us as to what do they need for tools, what do they need for skills, what are we missing, where are we going in the next number of years. And it's valuable, and we couldn't do it without those advisors, and it creates that public-private partnership, which is good.
Right. And Quinsig, you know, you mentioned kind of the retraining. I mean, we hear the data, someone graduating from college today or high school during the course of their lives, the number of jobs that they're going to have in different places they're going to work, it's going to require a constant retraining and updating, and Quinsig is a vehicle for that in Central Mass.
And I think you know, chances are the students at Quinsig are from Worcester or the surrounding towns. They're living here in Central Mass, and they're going to stay here. And so we're really working with our neighbors and our fellow workers, and so it is a busy place. You go to Quinsig during the day or at night or at any time that you visit that campus, there are people hustling because they're working another job and they're going to fill a class and then maybe go do another job. Your wife went through Quinsig, so you lived with that as well. And I'm happy to serve on the board with her. So I'm very excited about this next opportunity.
Well, but the good news is you don't completely go away for us at the Chamber. You continue to serve for a couple of years as President Emeritus, Chairwoman Emeritus, and so we're excited about that. But thank you on behalf of the Chamber staff and our team and our members for your work and leadership over the last couple of years as the chair of the Chamber, and look forward to having you back to talk about Quinsig and workforce development and training.
Thank you.